Hey everyone, I'm Airwingmarine. Welcome back to the channel and my next Escape from Tarkov video. With the patch today, it looks like they fixed hideout skills, so I wanted to do another guide video talking about what the skills are, what the benefits from them are, and how they level up. So let's dive right into it. All right, so for those of you that don't know, there's two skills related to your hideout that were added towards the end of the wipe, the last wipe, not this wipe. With 12.9, a bug showed up that caused the skills to roll back, at least partially. So it made it very difficult for people to level up their hideout skills. With the most recent patch, it appears that these bugs are fixed. I've been playing around with it all day, and earlier this morning it wasn't real consistent, but now it seems to be everything's worked out and ironed out, and if you stick with a few simple rules, you'll be able to actually power level these. But first, let's talk about what the skills are for those that are kind of new to the whole hideout crafting skill thing. First off, you have hideout management. Now, hideout management provides two pretty cool bonuses. One, it increases the bonuses from zones in the hideout by 41%. Now, this used to apply to the solar panel. It doesn't, but it does apply to your library and your intelligence center specifically, but also the heating unit and some of the other things. Like, we'll go to the library real quick and show you. So if you go here and look, you see these things got little tick ups to them and pluses to what they run. It's same thing here. You've got negative 14.1%, which this is just normally 10. So all of these things get the bonuses. The big ones really apply in the Intel Center because these bonuses are pretty big. You know, scav cooldown timer being basically cut in half right now, and the flea market commission by 42%. The other thing that this skill also does is it reduces. Let me get there real quick. It reduces the consumption rate of filters and fuel. So your air filters, your water filters, and your fuel all get reduced by 21%. So on top of the 50% I get from solar power, I get an additional 21% on top of that. So a metal fuel can for me, as you can see, lasts 60 hours. It's a little bit more, but right at 60 hours for one fuel can, which is quite a bit more than somebody who doesn't have any of the skills. There are three ways to level up the hideout management skill. One is crafting. You get 1 point per craft, and this counts when you start the craft. So when you start your craft, it will apply 1 skill point to there. The other way is per 10 resources spent on filters or fuel, you also get 1 point. So like if your fuel has 100 of 100 and you use 10, that gives you 1 point. Same thing with the water filters and the air filters. So every 10 units you use, you level up 1 point. So this, if you're trying to power level this, you're going to want to have all your filters running all the time. And then lastly, upgrading a module. Each time you upgrade a module, so if you go from level 1 to level 2 workbench or level 2 to level 3 med station, you get 20 points. So all those add up to quite a bit at the end of the day, but those are the three ways you get skill points for hideout management. When you get to elite level, on top of all of the other bonuses you get 2 additional slots in your fuel, so in your generator, so you go from 6 to 8. You get 2 additional slots in your air filters, which means you go from 3 to 5. And then you get 2 additional slots in your water filters, which means instead of just 1 filter, so when it runs out, your thing stops, you get 3. So now you will constantly, even when your filter burns up, it'll go to the next one and then the next one. So as long as you're collecting your water, you don't have to worry about downtime. And lastly, the really big one is it adds 2 slots to the Bitcoin farm. So with a full Bitcoin farm, this brings you from 3 slots that max out in about 18 hours to 5 slots that max out in over 30 hours. Even someone who only plays once a day doesn't have to worry about their Bitcoin farm filling up. So it's a fantastic skill to level up, and probably one of the ones that's more accessible to people than a lot of the other skills in the game when it comes to the elite skills. Now for crafting, it's a little bit different. You have 2 ways to level this skill up. One is you get 1 point per 8 hours of craft time. So if you have 8 modules running for 1 hour, which I don't even know if there is 8 or if they all count, but if you have 8 modules running for 1 hour, that gives you 1 point. If you have 4 modules running for 2 hours, that gives you 1 point. 8 hours of total crafting gives you 1 skill point. Now, on top of that, you will get 2.5 skill points for each craft you complete. And this gets calculated when you collect the craft. So when you go to your specific hideout spot and you collect it, then it'll give you that 2.5 bonus. This skill reduces how much time it takes to craft. So right here, you get the 27% reduction in the time to craft. So this basically makes things craft faster. And you really see this on long crafts like the Lucky Scav Junk Box, the Intel Centers, things like that. It really, really shows up since it's percentage based. You also get a 27% reduction in the time of ciclet production of all items except the Bitcoin farm. So right now, this basically means your water filter. So this will reduce how fast your water collector crafts, essentially. It does not apply to the Bitcoin farm, though. That is fixed. Now, I've heard these apply to the Lucky Scav Junk Box, and they did prior to 12.9. I haven't had a chance to test this yet. So if you're seeing it, let us know in the comments down below so everybody's up to date with what's going on. Now, the Elite version of this is also awesome, although it does get to be a little bit daunting. Once you reach level 51 with this, you're allowed to craft 2 items in any module at once. Now, this doesn't mean you can craft 2 moonshines or 2 waters or anything like that, but at the Lavatory, the Workbench, the Intel Center, the med station, and the nutrition unit, you can craft 2 different items. You can't craft 2 of the same. You can craft 2 different. So you can craft a green and a red gunpowder, or you can craft VPXs and graphics cards, or a Lucky Scav Junk Box and Cordura. You know, all of those can be crafted at the same time. And it gets to be a little overwhelming, honestly, because there's a lot of shit to keep track of and a lot of materials. Towards the end of last wipe, I had 4 Lucky Scav Junk Boxes full of stuff, just trying to keep up with it. It was a lot to handle, but it does make how much money you can make from your hideout quite a bit higher. Now, there is one key here, and it applies to both crafts. You want to rotate your crafts. You don't want to craft the same thing over and over and over again because it will not give you the skill points. You need to craft a green gunpowder, then a red gunpowder, then a green gunpowder and a red gunpowder. You can alternate them and it will work, but you really need to make sure you do that because if you craft a green gunpowder, green gunpowder, green gunpowder, it will not give you the skill points. So just make sure you alternate your crafts in each module and you'll be good. And we're going to go through here in a second and talk about what I do and some of the strategies to how to essentially power level your hideout skills. All right, so to get into the first craft, we'll look at the workbenches. Now, in here, your 2 fastest crafts are the printed circuit boards with the DVDs, which let me find those real quick, are down here at 24 minutes, but also the LCDs, the scratched LCDs at 16 minutes. Now this, I don't recommend this craft unless you want to burn rubles to keep warm. This is an expensive craft. It's fast. You will waste a ton of money. I don't do it. You can do it if you really want to. I stick with printed circuit boards and Hawk gunpowder for 26 minutes and 24 minutes. Those are the 2 crafts I go at. Now, occasionally I'll throw a green gunpowder or do something in there just because I get bored crafting the same 2 things over and over again. But those are the 2 I craft to try to power level my hideout skills now that they're fixed. Now, at the end of the night, you want to craft the longest craft you can. And this is to take advantage of that 1 point per 8 hours of crafting. And you do that with at 7 and 31, and that's usually what I do, but I use a lot of 7 and 31, and this craft does lose you a little bit of money if you try to sell it. So your other option with this is M61s, which is also a long craft and will make you money. So those are the 2 crafts to look at for at the end of the day when you go to log off. Craft those, and that will net you the most skill points while you're not playing. At the Intel Center, it doesn't matter much. These craft times are so long that they're not going to have a huge impact on leveling you. If you really want to rotate crafts, go with graphics cards and VPXs. That's the best thing to do. You can get a little bit faster doing some of the other crafts, but at the end of the day, these are the ones that are going to make you money and help you pay for everything else. So that's what I do, is graphics cards and VPXs. Now, the nutrition unit is just going to be a money sink. There isn't really anything you can do here and not lose money. So my purpose is to go at this as fast as possible and get this power leveling done so I'm not wasting money anymore. And I do that by rotating between Urska lunchboxes at 35 minutes and the Kvass waters at 41 minutes. Now the loss isn't huge, but it is there. So if you don't feel comfortable doing this, don't. If you want to limit your losses, the 2 crafts to go after are the Slickers bars and the whiskeys. You will still lose money, but not quite as much if you do these 2 crafts. You won't level up as fast, but you won't take as big of a bite out of your wallet. And at the end of the day, if you want to do a long craft, hot rods are your longest craft. These things right here are 3 hours and 50 minutes for me. They're over 4 hours for a lot of other people. This will get you the most skill points while you're logged off for the day. The med station, your 2 fastest crafts are blood sets and AI2s. But blood sets will lose you a bunch of money, and AI2s are even get to the point now where they don't break even and you lose money because meds are getting expensive. So what I do is I rotate between AI2s, pile of meds, and then occasionally throw in a Salewa. This isn't the fastest, but it keeps the mundaneness down. It allows you to make a little bit of money and recover the costs from those AI2s, especially because you can't use them all in your pile of meds. You just make too many of them. At the end of the day, when I go to get off, I craft defibrillators. Now, this is the longest craft in here next to the LEDX, but the LEDX is absurd. So these things are what I craft. They basically break even right now. You're not going to make any money off of them, but you're not really going to lose as much either. And it'll help bump up your flea market rating. Also, you can hang on to these and use them for the thick barter case if you prefer. Now, at the Lavatory, your two fastest crafts here are the gas mask and army bandages. So you can rotate between these two and go really quickly. You know, this is actually a little bit more than a minute. I forget, it's like a minute and 40 seconds or a minute and 50 seconds, but it's really quick. So one thing to keep in mind is it doesn't matter what you're crafting, try to throw gas mask in between those crafts. You could craft scav junk boxes all day long or scav backpacks or whatever, but buy one of these gas masks and then craft it. They're going to cost you between 35 and 45K, and then you're going to be able to sell the filter. What are these selling for? 25 now, 27, 28. So it's going to cost you 10 to 15K to do this each time, but it's worth it in my opinion. It resets that diminishing returns, gives you 2.5 skill points, and it's going to get you there faster than anything else in the hideout. Now, for me, I rotate when I'm in a hurry. You know, like if I'm doing videos or I'm not actually playing and I'm just in my hideout, I'll rotate between army bandages and gas masks. So basically every 15 minutes, I'm getting 5 skill points. If I'm not doing that, your next best bet is the Cordura craft with the tea bags, because it's pretty quick. It's not all that long. Where is it at? Am I going right past it 3 or 4 times here? Probably for you guys. Wasting your time. I apologize. I all the way at the bottom. So you're 35 minutes. And then you can, with that, do scav backpacks. You're a little bit longer, but you're going to make money with both of those. So there's an option there. But for the fastest, it is going to be army bandages and gas masks. Now, at the end of the night, when you log off, the one I suggest is the Lucky Scav Junk Box for many reasons, not just making money. It levels up your hideout skill. It levels up your flea market rating. There's all sorts of benefits from crafting this, especially because I have Shooterborn in Heaven, which reminds me I better buy my mag case to craft a Lucky Scav Junk Box tonight when I get off. So that's it. Hopefully these bugs are totally annihilated and we don't see them anymore. If you are still running into them, post comments in the YouTube. I'll kind of keep track of it. We'll try to track down and see if we can specifically see what's going on and find a way around any bugs that might still exist so people can level up their hideout skills as fast as possible. And we'll go from there. Well, that wraps up the video. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit that like button because it helps out the channel a bunch. And subscribe for future content. We also have a Discord, links down in the description, that you can come join. We're filling up with a bunch of chill people who just love to play Tarkov. If you're looking to support the channel in other ways, we've launched a Patreon with some benefits like access to a Discord channel, constantly updated spreadsheet for my hideout calculations, and some other things if you want to go check it out over there. Lastly, thanks for your support on YouTube. It means the world to me and I greatly appreciate every one of you. So with that, we'll wrap it up and we'll see you in Tarkov.